Good morning, guys. Today we're speaking with Tobias Wagner and Gert Wagner. They were speaking with us all the way from Berlin. 7 days ago, they funded their campaign for the Hipjib. And over the course of their 52-day campaign, they were able to raise over $31,000 with the help of 243 backers. The Hipjib is a portable device that converts standard tripods into a mobile jib arm. You simply wrap the device around your waist and place the tripod into the slots, and suddenly you have steady camera movements and mobile camera stability. Today we'll hear about the Hipjib story and how they are changing the way filmmakers produce movies. Thanks guys for being here. It's a pleasure. How's everything over there?
Good, how are you? Thanks. Oh.
Good. So, let's jump right into it. Why don't, can you give us a little background about Hipjib and, where it came from, where the idea was created?
Sure enough. Well, I'm a filmmaker and a cameraman. You see, doing commercials means you must be flexible, should not carry too much baggage. So instead of having a jib arm with me and a shoulder grip, a shoulder rig, I decided to build my own little device, which happened to be the Hipjib, which means that I have installed a little support on very close to my hip. That gives me the freedom to move with my camera and at the same time give it more stability. That's how Hipjib was born, out of this necessity.
Okay, gotcha. So when was the Hipjib created? Was it just a couple months ago, or?
Well, I've been running around with it for 2 years, just testing it and improving it all the time. But the first serious prototype was ready just a couple of months ago.
Gotcha. So how long would you say the development took?
I would say it took 1 to 2 years.
Okay, wow. So that's it's been quite a long journey there.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
All the little details, something here, something there, you only get to know that while you work with it. And that takes time, of course.
And what about the name Hipjib? Where did that come from?
Well, it's because it's hip. And you operate from the hip, and it's a jib.
Gotcha. Simple as that.
Logical.
Yeah. Logical.
In fact, it describes pretty precisely what's it all about.
Okay.
The Hipjib.
Excellent. So let's move into a little bit about the crowdfunding campaign. Why did you decide to crowdfund?
Well, as with anything, these kinds of, you can make these things for yourself. You go to the hardware store and buy all kinds of things and whatnot, and you work with something that works just fine. But if you decide to go and make a actual marketable product, you have to step it up by light years. You can't be. It has to look really slick and desirable.
Yeah, cool.
And that takes a lot of money. You have to. Just making the tool that will actually make the actual Hipjib will set you back several $10,000 worth of dollars. When you work and you don't have that kind of money just to throw around and see whether that would be an interesting thing to try. Kickstarter does two things. It'll give you not only the financial support, which is the obvious choice, but you also learn about the kind of product that you have, whether people get excited about it, whether and of course there's plenty of projects that are probably great that don't get funded, but that might have different reasons. That might have reasons because doing Kickstarter doesn't only take a great idea and a great product and presentation, it also takes a huge amount of PR. You basically sign your life off to Kickstarter for that 1 or 2 months that you're doing it.
That's right.
That's essentially you'll learn a lot about what it is that you're doing and what it is that you might have to improve, or you get a lot of feedback, a lot of dialogue, something that you'd never get if you just make a product and place it in the store and have people just buy it. You'll pick up news, hopefully some report in a magazine about it, but you don't get that same kind of like beta test feedback to this extent. Of course you can always test with friends and colleagues, but it's very different.
So you'd say it lowers the risk, and also it brings in a larger group of people that are actually able to see your product rather than just your friends and family. Now you're getting the whole crowd essentially.
Yeah. Well, you see, we got a worldwide reaction from the press. Mm-hmm. We saw the name Hipjib embedded in languages we didn't understand a word, just Hipjib, in Turkish and Chinese, Japanese. So Kickstarter gets a lot of international attention. So it's like a marketing campaign, actually, or a public relation campaign.
Gotcha. Were you guys actually crowdfunding when you ran the campaign? Were you out there in Germany the whole time?
We were in different places. I happened to be in Alaska.
Okay.
So we were coordinating our efforts, which kind of was convenient because there's a 10-hour time difference between Germany and Alaska. Mm-hmm. And so we had overlapping business hours, but basically worked around the clock that way.
Okay, so that's good. I guess there is some benefits. You have someone who's in the States that works through the day, and then on the Germany side across the water, you have the working through the next day. So you get the full 24-hour cycle. That's great.
Right.
So how did you hear about crowdfunding? It's a pretty new concept. How did you guys hear about it?
Well, I came across Kickstarter via Gizmek magazine. Have you heard of Gizmek? That's a technical online magazine.
Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with it. Yeah. I stumbled
That's how I
across.
got to it on Kickstarter.
Okay.
It wasn't the first time.
Oh, that's great. So.
And that was, I think, 2 years ago, and it fascinated me instantly. I'd never heard of it before here in Germany. But in the meantime, we do have similar setups over here in Europe as well. All Kickstarter and Indiegogo inspired.
Okay. So is there other platforms similar to Kickstarter in Germany?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Very similar.
And why did you decide to do Kickstarter, the actual Kickstarter version in the U.S. aside from a Germany version or an EU version?
Because it's multinational. I believe Kickstarter is world known, and these German platforms are not.
Okay.
It's a more local thing, and we wanted to go international.
So a lot more exposure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also not, I'd say people here are a little more frugal. So, for anyone to throw some dollars around at projects that don't even exist yet, that's not so much of a mentality that is from here maybe. So there's more, if anything, America is very much about the entrepreneurship, and so the platform like Kickstarter goes much more with the mentality, and so you just, aside from it being worldwide, I think it's also just there's much more activity because of that.
So would you?
It's really amazing, Michael, where we got reactions from all over the globe, actually. Portugal, New Zealand, Brazil, you name it. So it just shows you.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Where did most of your backers come from? Just all over, essentially.
Thank you.
Well, most of them probably from Central Europe and the United States, but many others from anywhere.
Okay, so
and it's great fun too, because we've been in constant contact with those guys. When a pledge package arrived, we said thank you, and they replied, great thing, good luck, etc. They gave us tips, ideas, how to proceed, etc. We were in continuous contact with our hackers, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll get to a little bit of that in a little bit down the line in the interview. But I was going to ask, so for the actual planning of the campaign, I know there, is a lot of content that has to be put together. Obviously there's the movie that has to be put together. How long did the planning take for you guys?
How long did it take? A couple of months.
Couple of months?
Yes. 4, 5, 6 months easily.
Wow. And then that's when you started planning for the campaign?
Well, I would say it took us 4 to 5 months. We knew we were planning to go the Kickstarter way, but before we started the campaign, we had to do these videos. We had to think carefully about what we were talking about, how to explain. We had to explain very thoroughly what this thing can do. So all that takes a lot of thinking and producing.
Yeah.
You also have to, aside from the website and the whole presentation that people have a place to find out more about what that is other than Kickstarter, you also have to load up on ammunition in terms of press, like pictures, you really, I think, if anything, what we've learned is it's really about the social media. If you don't tackle that side of crowdfunding, you've got to have a genius idea to still make that work. It's really, if you look at the pie chart as to where the backers came from, the majority was from social media. Wow. And that's been our experience. Others might have had a different experience, but you have to have a lot of sort of pictures and prepare posts for almost every day.
Gotcha. And
video posts and pictures and whatnot. It's just a lot of work.
Gotcha. Why did you guys decide on 52-day campaign? Where did that number come from?
Well, I think we wanted to include. We definitely wanted to be longer than a month, because we also felt like we weren't, when we started the campaign. We had to start it at some point, but we also felt like we might need some extra time, because we also had to, get more experience and then see. And have some more time to maybe make some mistakes, and it turned out to be a good idea actually. It's not always good to run really long campaigns, but we feel like with this device, people are eager to wait for it, and so we also wanted to use the promotional factor that a Kickstarter campaign supplies. So the more time you spend on it, the more attention you can get. So, and then the odd number of 52 is just because we wanted to include the last weekend of that week because weekends are, people take time to browse the internet a little more than during the week when they have to work.
Gotcha. So how did you picked the funding goal of 20,000? Where did that come from?
Well, we knew that the tools needed to produce Hipjib would cost approximately $40,000 to $50,000, and we decided to put in our own money. But since that wasn't enough, we thought maybe we would get the rest from Kickstarter. And we had been tempted to getting all the money from Kickstarter, the campaign probably would not have worked out. So that's how we decided to make it to make these 20,000, and it turned out to be just right, actually.
So the money's going to be really put into the actual parts of the Hipjib?
The tooling, yes.
The tooling?
That's very expensive.
Okay.
And you've got to find some way to finance something like that.
Right. Well, it's a good thing you found Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's most of these Kickstarter projects are all about. That's financing tools and materials, etc. Before you start production.
Yeah. And then What about any like marketing?
I mean, marketing is a different story, of course, but a Kickstarter campaign is also a marketing campaign in a way.
Gotcha.
But the rest of the money needed comes from our own sources. We could not finance the whole project exclusively via Kickstarter.
Okay.
That wouldn't have been enough.
So, are there any recommendations you could offer future crowdfunders for setting a funding goal? I've heard some people sometimes short it, and sometimes if you make it too high of a funding goal, you might not even reach your goal, and you might not get any of the funds. Is there a perfect medium, would you say?
I think if you're willing to take a little bit of a risk to say that I'm gonna pick the very lowest number and maybe even undercut myself. I mean, just about for you to and finding other ways of financing it, because the lower it is, not only the more likely it is that it gets through, but people like to jump on bandwagons that are already running well. If you see a Kickstarter campaign that's doing really well, I think people are more likely to jump on that rather than something that is a great product but is just barely making it. They might get funded, but people are not as excited about it. You want to create a buzz and a hype. If people see you're at 110% halfway through, or you're at 140% near the end, or 200%, or there's campaigns that have close to 1,000% of funding.
Right.
Some of the successful ones. I mean, that's people will instantly. It's almost like a reassurance that this is a great thing and I should be getting this too. So that's kind of what that speaks. It's important not to set this as to what you conveniently need to have, but rather what could you just get by with. And then.
Do you remember the first day of your launch? And can you go into a little bit?
Never forget.
So what went into the preparation the first day? What was it? Blasting Facebook, sending emails to all your family. What can you share some insight?
Well, it's a very emotional thing actually. The very first backer appears. After a couple of minutes when you went online, that was certainly a very exciting moment, touching in a way. And then through the course of the next few hours, a couple of more time, that was really exciting.
That's awesome. So excitement.
Actually, Kickstarter offers you if you give your feedback, you can look at the backers curve, how many have participated in how much time, and of course it's a curve that varies. Sometimes it's going steep up as it did in the beginning, then it flattens a little, so you get a little worried. It's very exciting watching that curve developing.
Gotcha. So the whole campaign experience is a lot of ups and downs, you'd say?
Yes, it certainly is entertaining.
When did you guys know you were going to get your project funded? When could you breathe that sigh of relief that we got this?
After a couple of days, actually, we were quite certain we would easily reach that goal. After a week, we were quite certain.
Oh, okay, wow. So you guys were confident in the very beginning. That's good to hear.
Yes, although the speed did not, it slowed down over the weeks, but we were still confident, and indeed, it went alright as you have seen.
Oh yeah. After you reached your funding goal, did you offer any stretch goals?
We had a little we threw in after we reached 30,000. We decided to add a feature that was now funded because we had enough money to make that happen. So we thought of this tweak that we wanted to do to just like add a little bit of that. And once we reached 30,000, that was possible.
Okay, that's good. So that was,
Yeah.
were you letting your backers know of that? That you had?
Yeah, we had support teams like, hey, we've got a little, we didn't tell them what it was. We said, we got a little something if we go past this line, so make sure your friends and colleagues know.
Oh, okay, so that, did that gain a little bit more excitement and kind of pushed your campaign even farther, would you say?
We hope it did. There's certain things that definitely did push it, which was reaching out to press a little bit more. You could see that reflected in that graph every time.
Oh, very nice. So would you say, like, PR, like in terms of actual articles written by bloggers, would you say that had some, big influence?
Yeah, definitely. There's some, it varies depending on how, first of all, how kind the blogger was with your project. But then they were very kind. They were very cool. And the other is how big is their audience. It really shows those effects.
Okay, so what about in terms of Facebook and Twitter? Those are very popular social media outlets. How did you guys go about using those?
We actually hired someone to help us with that. We're both total social media ignorance. We mix Google in real life and less fun. But we had to have someone that was hip enough to help us out in that department. And it definitely, we can't recommend that enough. I mean, anyone that's about to embark on a Kickstarter project, if you're not savvy in these departments, then you have to get someone to help you. But it might cost $1,000, which it did.
Did you guys actually hire someone locally, or did you outsource?
There's someone here in Berlin actually that helped us.
Okay, that's nice.
And that person is a freelancing PR person.
Okay.
We recommend her highly. I mean, her name is Andrea Fromm. If anyone needs a social media PR specialist, she rocks.
Okay.
Andrea Fromm in Berlin.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Definitely. We can put that in the credits to give her a shout out. No problem.
Okay, good. I'll talk to you. I'll give you the spelling on email.
All right. Cool. So was one social media outlet more effective than the other? Twitter versus Facebook, or would you say you kind of just put them into one category?
I think Facebook was the seems more interactive. I mean, Twitter is so short in its communication. It's like, someone just shouts something and someone shouts something back, and then, that's it. Right. And then Facebook's a little more interactive, and you also see, you also can tell if you have ads running on Facebook, you can tell the effect of the ads and how it's resembled in how many people click that one.
Okay.
You see more of the correlations of.
So, in terms of crowdfunding and being successful crowdfunders, is there any advice you can offer entrepreneurs looking to crowdfund their product? Any advice for entrepreneurs looking to crowdfund their product?
Right. I mean, in general, what we've taken from our experience, I think we spent quite a bit of time deciding on the different tiers and what we should offer and what it's not just a great product that will get you backers. You have to have a really good, well-tiered, well-priced pledge structure. And if you don't have that, you could have an ingenious product that will not go anywhere because people just don't like what they get, for either the amount of money or maybe they didn't want a t-shirt, maybe they wanted the t-shirt, I don't know. So you have to have a little bit of something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth spending a lot of time on deliberating. And then, of course, the other material, like you have to have a video that gets across your message, but also make yourself approachable. There's a lot of and stuff like that. So people want to see a little of an individual spirit and entrepreneurship in you too, to make it a personal product. And so, so the presentation is really important. And, I don't know whether it's important to a website or not. It's definitely very important to interact with the social media. That's something we've learned, and if I ever ran a Kickstarter campaign again, then we'd definitely be pounding the social media.
Okay. So, has it opened any other doors for you guys? Have you had investors approach you or anything in that sorts?
Not investors, but some Chinese manufacturers offered their services. But we decided to have them made in Germany and European.
So you guys are scheduled to ship in November. Do you believe you'll ship on time?
December.
Beginning of December?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think you'll, now that you've received an extra 10K on the campaign, is that making it, more time consuming?
Oh, jeez. We don't know what to do with all this money now. I mean, it's going to take us so much time to figure it out. Where to spend it? No, it's actually, you see, we had originally, decided to put in, money from our own ends into this. So having another 10K of funds is easing a little bit of the pain that would otherwise go into this. It's also, you sign your life off to Kickstarter, so when you do nothing but that for like 2 or 3 months, and you put a freelancing, I don't know, filmmaker, photographer, musician, whatever, then Kickstarter can get really hard on your budget, on your personal budget.
Right, so I guess all the side projects or any businesses that you had going, just other than Kickstarter, kind of put to the side, and Kickstarter is really the only thing you do for a couple months.
Yeah, that's what they say, and that's kind of true. If you wanted to be successful, you can. there's no putting your feet up at any time.
So you'd say for that.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, so for that 52-day campaign, would you say you guys were pretty much in front of the computer or talking to someone about your product every single?
Yeah, in one way or another. Whether you edited pictures or took pictures or did website updates or whatnot, it never ends.
Gotcha. So as filmmakers, film producers, you're in that industry. I know the actual Kickstarter video is very important. It sheds light on the whole story of the product, and it gives the potential backers a reason to put money into your campaign. How much work and what kind of elements did you use to make your video? And I guess a more important question is, what kind of advice can you give potential crowdfunders on making their video?
Well, basically, it doesn't have to be a perfect video, as long as it's as people get the idea and the thing that is trustworthy. That should be much more important than any technical perfection.
I didn't get your answer about the video.
You did not get it?
No.
Okay, let me repeat.
Okay.
So a video doesn't have to be technically perfect. Much more important is that it's trustworthy, that people get the message.
Okay.
And then it's not really important whether it's a good or a well-done video. Most important is that people trust you and believe you.
Okay. So, trustworthy.
And that they, of course, they get the idea behind the whole story, the product, etc.
Okay. So it doesn't necessarily have to be of the utmost quality or the best camera angles or best lighting. Just
not at all.
Actually, we feel that for some of the ones who are, we're not to film, I don't have cameras lying around. The imperfections are part of the charm. You know, like if you make a book, or if you decide to, if you want to record your album, then it might, you know, it just shows you as a person. It makes you potentially more likable than if you had like a completely cleaned version of your presentation that was professionally done and had nothing wrong with it. Actually, I think the more there's edge to it, the more personality it is, and the more, you know, you become a persona, you become this character that wants to do this thing, and it's much more attractive than someone trying to portray themselves. They had no.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's.
I think that actually makes a lot of sense. It's very interesting that you say that.
You have to overcome a lot of. Some people naturally don't have that kind of, what do you call that? It's not shame, but you have to get over that threshold of presenting yourself in a way that you say, you know, I don't care, I just need to present this. You know, I don't care how my hair is going to look that day, but here it is. You know, so you have to have that that kind of free spirit to present yourself.
Gotcha. So overall, how was your crowdfunding experience?
Yeah, the overall experience, it's exhilarating. It's a bit like you know, I don't know, it's comparable like the gold diggers that travel down to Alaska. It's just like, you know, you get excited about something, you see the curve move up, then you find an article that was released because, you know, someone found you on Kickstarter and stuff like that. You get a tremendous amount of correspondence. I don't think none of us combined have written close to the amount of emails a day that we wrote at the time, because it's all about that communication. You meet a whole lot of wonderful people that you would not have been in touch with otherwise. There's an addictive part to that, you know, because you immediately feel the effect that you have with the communication and the things you put out there, either via Facebook or press. So there's it's a really great feeling. It's you know, even though it takes a tremendous amount of energy, you get a whole lot of energy back. So it's totally worth it. That's
excellent. That's great to hear. And anything you guys would have done differently?
Hard to tell. We certainly learned some lessons, but no, I think we were on a good track there.
I mean, you guys were successful.
You can always improve, of course.
You know, I think you can never get prepared enough. So if there's anything we can always do better, is we can always get better prepared in terms of like contacting the press and doing all these things ahead of time, so you don't have to spend all night up to catch up.
So it's just being able to take those hurdles one by one and then overcome the challenges as they come. So, you know, we're kind of wrapping up here, but is there any general advice you can offer crowdfunders / entrepreneurs for, you know, having an idea or a product that they want to bring to the market?
Yes, just do it. We couldn't encourage anybody just to go out and do it. It's a good chance to get product finance or to get it known, actually.
So just
even if it's not a really successful campaign, you get it's an experience, and you get reactions, feel for the market. It's always what's fun.
So just move forward and go for it.
Yes, and most of anything, what you're given with Kickstarter is you're given a deadline. And then, as a good friend of mine used to say, now you've got a deadline, now you can finish it.
Great. Okay, so, you know, I think that about wraps it up on my side. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to discuss or let the crowd know, let the herd surfers know about?
Thanks.
And
Okay.
just do it, you know? Yeah. Dive in.
Gotcha. All right, Tobias and Gert. Well, you know, I really appreciate your time today, and I wanted to thank you again and again for taking some time today. I want to ask, as successful crowdfunders, I was wondering if someone has questions that, and they're kind of in the film market, if they could reach out to you, would you be interested in, if I could give them your email address, would that be okay?
Yeah, it was a great pleasure. Sure. So, Kickstarter is all about community, and as good as the community as it is, they can just go online at Hipjib.com and drop us an email through the website. That's probably the best method because that'll always reach us.
Okay.
So if they just go to Hipjib.com, and then we have a contact form there. Just drop us a line. All of us read these emails that come in there, and we respond to everyone.
Okay. Great. That's awesome. So then I could definitely give that information to our followers, and hopefully we could grow this community. I think that's that's the bigger goal of this whole experience.
Great.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks to you, Michael. Good to meet you on Skype.
Yeah, it's great. It was a pleasure. All right. Have a great night.